Debbie. Hello, Debbie. How are you? Debbie says you talk about transient thoughts. And I know you say they are not always right. But what can we do about physical feelings they bring, such as sadness? No, well, your reaction to things that brings you sadness is not something to want to go away from it. Last night I was taking a walk on my way to the sea walk. I decided to walk on a soccer field. I was a bit lazy to go all the way, so I said, I'll do my hour walk in the field. And I remembered my father, and I was sad. You know, it was not too difficult to cry. It was very easy. And that's the emotion that we get. That's the reaction we have from sad memories, or good memories, sad not to have it. So sadness is not something that it's supposed to be bad by itself. What happened may be bad or good, but the feeling of sadness is like you react to something that makes you laugh and you're happy. So you react to something that is not so pleasant, brings you sadness. So that's okay. So when you feel sad by remembering your past relationship or something that you still want to have it, in other words, you try to make permanent out of a temporary, which is the rhythm of life. Almost everything in this life is temporary. You don't know, the ones who were at my other talk yesterday, we talked about this suffering, which comes from when we want to turn temporary into permanent. That's where suffering starts. And I mentioned there's a chapter in my Me, My Psyche and I book talks about this particular part. But remember, when you have had some kind of experience, some part of your life, you had something and you lost it or it's no longer there. Whatever it was, your briefcase or your wallet or your jewelry you never used or something, your shirt, something you can't find it, and you feel there's a file of emotion about that particular item or that particular event in your life, that particular person in your life that's no longer in your life. And these are all come, when you remember them, they come with the file of a memory. In that file of a memory, there's so many emotions also in there. And all of that comes together. As soon as you recognize the name of the file, name of the event, name of the person, the whole file comes. And that is good memory, bad memory, intimacy, sexuality, interactions of different kind, events and so on. Everything is there. So you need to focus on first understanding, do I want these memories to come with the emotional file that they bring with them and be affected by it? If you say no, then you may want to try to do something when that file comes up. Now, in the case of the file, the emotional file and the file that you're remembering being about an old relationship, an ex, something that is no longer and it's broken up, but you were not initiator of it and you feel sad because you want that person still. Well, you want that person because you still think of that person higher than you, a better catch than you, more than you. So you have a propensity towards that, what makes you feel more, because you consider him or her more. So you attach yourself. Like when you go shopping, you buy things technologically or quality-wise are interesting, and you want to attach yourself to the quality of that thing that you want to buy, because that quality represents knowledge, advancement, value, and you attach the value of that thing to yourself, so hence you feel more, you feel elated, you feel elevated in worth and value. That's pretty much part of the reason that people keep going shopping for no reason. They just want to increase their value. So now, when you remember that person or that relationship, you're still, with that memory that comes with you, you're still thinking of that person higher. That's why you miss him or her. So, why don't we play a trick? When you, it's a little bit funny, but that's the way you try different things. There are different ways that I've talked about how to delete your memory, how to deal with these things that we're just talking about in over 300 videos that we have on YouTube. But today, I'm trying to try something new with you. And so it may be a little bit funny, but do it, and it does work. So when the file comes up, you are thinking still, you have under that influence of that person is better than you, higher than you, more important than you. So therefore you have gravity toward that person. Plus all these other memories that you had with that person. So because that person feels bigger than you, and everything comes together, the sexuality, the intimacy, the looks, the shine, and the funny things, and how you were impressed and infatuated by that person, all that's what you think when you have severed the relationship, or it's been severed, the relationship not by you, by somebody else. So you feel kind of deficient. You feel like it was their decision, so you feel inferior. So you feel that person is bigger and higher, and you have this looking up kind of thing. You're impressed. That's why you still want that person. So first thing you want to do, you want to make sure that you take that edge off. That what makes that person in your mind, the files, the memory, or the feeling you have, or however you impress, make that person big in your mind, important in your mind. You want to take that off. How? By not allowing the pictorials that you receive from that memory file to be a complete person. In other words, if you're a man, I'm not sure who I'm talking to, I forgot. Who am I talking to? Whatever. If you are a man and you're thinking about your ex-girlfriend, or if you're a lady, you're looking at you're thinking about your ex-boyfriend. Let's say, I don't know, since I don't remember, let's say you're a man and you're talking about your girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. And when her picture comes to your mind with that file, you think about her beauty, her sexuality, I don't know, parts of, the whole thing, and how infatuated you are. So right there, focus on one part of her body, because most of these infatuations and missing feelings is about the sexual feelings that you had and experiences you had with that person. Yes, it goes further than that, but mostly it's about the physical memories and physical warmth and physical security that you would feel, you would remember in those memories. So focus and turn that all those pictures come to you to one very, very small part of her, like her ear. Focus on the hole in the ear. Just focus on what's in her ear. Just pay full attention to one part, the nostrils, the eye. Don't let that whole picture take shape in you to represent the whole person, which brings about it all those other things, experiences they had with her. Suddenly, that person does not qualify to feel more and bigger and more important and more complete and heavenly and godly to you. Suddenly, you see that person is actually not impressive, because you focus on her humanity and incompleteness of recognizing that she has an ear, she has a nose, she has an eye, she has a tooth, and that gives you that feeling of she's also a human being, nothing more. She's no more than what she is, with her own shortcomings, own limitations, own mentalities that she needs to improve and so on. And suddenly you bring her from that big, huge, heavenly pedestal that you had put her on to what she really is, a human being. And so happened that your desires for her made her important. Her by herself is not important. As long as you do not have a desire for something, that thing has no value. Look at a 5-carat diamond ring. As long as nobody wants to buy it, it has no value. It's doing nothing, sitting there. But when somebody wants it, desires it, suddenly it's in the market. An orange, you don't want to have an orange. In fact, you don't feel like having anything sweet or with that taste, has no value to you. But apple does, because you want apple. But does that mean that the orange is not valuable, apple is? No, they're both valuable and not valuable depending on if you desire them. A person that you become friend with only becomes so important because your mind, your thoughts makes that person to be, and you believe your thoughts. Once you believe your thoughts and you say, it's my thought, I believe it, therefore it must be. But it's not. You create it, because same person that you stop liking and you fall in love with somebody else, how come then that person, the new one, is now suddenly the apple of your eye and the focus of your attention? And that one, which you used to die for, is no longer of any caliber. So what happened? Did that person lose the value? Did that person gain the has value and this one doesn't? No. It's your desire that creates certain kind of a value in that person and not so much in the other one, or vice versa. So remember, you are the master. You are the one who creates that feeling that you miss them, you want them, you love them for the reasons that your desires, you following your desires, your emotions. So in fact, everything that that person seems to have is you giving it to that person by desiring that person. All you have to do, undesire her. Undesire him. Don't desire it. Understand that it is you who's the master of giving value. It's your desire that gives value to that person, not that person having a value by itself. You find a place for that, what that person can offer, the pleasure that you can receive from that person, however it may be. What that person offers you for comfort in life. Suddenly all of that translates into you seeing a benefit of that person for you, for your life. Therefore that makes you, whether physically or for these provisions and fringe benefits, desire her to create a use, a need for that person. Therefore, on that basis, you bring value to that person. Focus on these things that you have created, that you are the master of creation of these feelings and emotions and sadness and needs and worshiping and all that. It's your desire, whether it's sexual desire, the intimacy, the things that that person does for you, things that you gain from that relationship with that person. All of that is what you seem to think is good enough reason for you to want somebody. Now, so if you see, they're not in control of how you are feeling today. You have empowered them by your desire, following your desires. Don't follow your desire. Focus on who you are. Build something else. If you're the master to desire this, well, desire something else. Replace that file with somebody more beautiful if you're into the physical beauty, or somebody more qualified if you're in other kind of qualifications, and put that place in its place, that person in its place, not so high up. Bring it down. Focus on one part of him or her, the hair in the nostril. Suddenly you see, oh, that person is not really that heavenly. It's just as simple and normal and with same shortcomings as we all have. So I hope that will help you a little bit to be more powerful in your approach when you feel sad, when you remember all these memories. Now let me see, who was it that I was talking to, who asked that question.